Well, that looked freaking amazing. So yes, Red Dead Redemption 2 is getting a first-person mode. That is absolutely insane. I thought for sure they were going to be adding this after release, but it's going to be out of the gates. They're not playing games here with Red Dead Redemption 2. So yeah, as you can see, they revealed a brand new gameplay trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 with lots of cool gameplay. It looks absolutely gorgeous. If you want to see it for yourself uncut, see that description below. Check out Rockstar Games on YouTube. But yeah, there was also a bunch of details revealed about the game itself as well, which I'm going to be going over. Now, a lot of this comes from other media outlets and sources, including IGN, so see them in the description, below, if you just want to check it out for yourself. But I am totally hyped for this game over here. So, you guys know that I've been covering Fallout 76 like a madman, and yeah, this is another game that is on my list for sure. It's going to be Fallout 76 for me, and pretty much Red Dead Redemption 2 when you know, the game's finally released. And they're releasing pretty close to one another, too. Alright, so let's get into those brand new details. I'll just keep this gameplay rolling so you guys can enjoy that first-person gameplay as well as it cuts back to that. But yeah, let's dive into some of these facts. So this was one of the facts that I found really interesting, is that, yes, Arthur Morgan's hair will actually grow in real time in this game, and there's an option to actually style the his beard and his hair basically any way you want. I mean, you can get really extreme with this one, basically shaving down his beard in any way and any shape you basically want. So I think you get really crazy and creative with it as well. Now, you can also be unkept in this game and dirty, so it's your choice to bathe and stuff like that. But if you don't, you're going to offend those around you, and you get to see their reactions to you as well. So I think there's going to be some pretty hilarious stuff with that too. I'm wondering if this all will carry over into Red Dead Online, if you and your gang, you know, your posse can go in there completely unclean into places and completely offend people as well. Alright, you can change your hairstyle also at the barber in town, and then you, if you don't, eat or rest, Arthur will suffer the consequences and will suffer from fatigue. But get this, this is quite amazing, and this goes back to the days of San Andreas, I believe. You will visibly lose or gain weight depending on how much food you eat. So I'm going to try to eat like a madman in this game and see if my horse can bear the weight, or if I like completely crush my own horse. You kill your own horse by getting on the top of it and just eating too much. Alright, and then also you can, it says here, bodies of downed enemies are marked as a small X on the minimap. So basically what that means, you go back and loot their corpses. Now, fellow gang members can also loot downed bodies for you. So that is a huge help. And also, they'll give you extra cash and ammo from that too. Now, the same thing carries over to animals and wildlife. That if you do see that paw print on the minimap, you can go back to the, you know, paw print and go ahead and loot the corpse, or skin the corpse, if you will. Now, what I found really cool, if you do lose your hat or weapon, it will reappear in your horse's saddle, but you can also just go back for those things as well if you see it lying around on the ground. So that's always an option too. It would be a pain in the butt if you always had to like kind of micromanage stuff as well. Now, you can go to the extreme with the hunting and stuff by wearing an animal carcass as a hat. That's like on the extreme end of stuff if you're that psycho out there, but that's also a possibility as well. Doesn't say here that that extends to humans, though, so I guess that's good news. But you can customize your outfit to an insane degree, they say here. You can choose to have your pants tucked in your boot or not, and your sleeves rolled up or not. So there's a lot of detail with each and every outfit. There's like this micro detail on top of getting these unique outfits that you could find in the world. Now, it goes on to say that weapons do get dirty and clogged up over time. And if you do get them wet, you'll need to clean them out to get the best performance. I'm curious to see how bad the degradation does get in this game. Now, this same system kind of applies to your horse as well. So your horse will get, you know, more mud over time on, you know, its body, and you will need to groom that horse. But you can also just simply clean your horse by going through a body of water or by letting a rainstorm naturally clean off that horse as well. Now, if you do decide, again, to be unkept and you have blood on you, mud on you, and stuff like that, people will react negatively to you. They don't want to be around someone that's completely dirty at all. And remember that the balls of a horse can shrink according to if it's cold or not. So just remember that one. Take care of your horse's balls, in other words. Now, also, it says here, Arthur's comments will change according to, while grooming. It says Arthur's comments while grooming or soothing his horse will change depending on the sex of the horse. Interesting. And then, of course, snow will affect your appearance as well. This is amazing detail right here. So if you have mud on you, that mud will harden and wipe away in the cold. And blood will also dry. This is like an insane, crazy level of detail. I'm going to try to keep my character unkept for as long as possible during the course of my game. Now, you can also choose the position you ride in when you're in a group, like the front of the group, the back of the group, or wherever. And if you're riding with other gang members, you can hold X to initiate a cinematic mode, so you can see the entire group together. And there's a wide variety of camera angles in this game, including that cinematic camera angle, which is really cool. You got to see kind of an indication of that in this brand new gameplay we see here. But man, it was so cool to see that as an option, because as you know, this game is going to be absolutely gorgeous, obviously, by what you are seeing here. Now, if you do decide to double tap L1, Arthur will put his gun away with a flourish, but tapping R2 will allow him to rapidly fire from the hip. So that's really, really useful in a pinch, of course. Then, of course, you have to remember that you have the new Deadeye system. This has like several tiers to it, and the ultimate tier is basically where you can go ahead and aim for enemies' vital organs. And this is extremely valuable when it comes to hunting as well. Now, the music is going to be composed by Woody Jackson, who is returning from the previous Red Dead Redemption game, so that seems mighty appropriate for sure. So also, if you hold up the D-pad while aiming, Arthur will fire a warning shot in the air. We got to see this in the gameplay with the rain coming down and stuff, and him approaching a wagon. That was so freaking cool. That's the part that I really loved about the overall gameplay trailer, as well as the first-person perspective as well. But it's cool to see that that has made its way into the game. But the idea behind that is kind of to either scare characters, startle an animal that he's hunting, or get the attention of everyone around him. Now, also, Arthur will dynamically shield his eyes before dynamite goes off. So that is another really nice detail as well. Now, of course, you can go ahead and customize all the weapons at the gunsmith as well. And then you will see upgrades, including longer and rifled barrels or improved iron sights. But you can also have more extensive, cosmetic upgrades on top of this, including etchings and engravings on, the handle of your gun and throughout the metal casing of the gun as well. So there's a lot of weapon options here, including crafting options too. So you can craft your own Molotovs as well, which in this game, I guess they're known as fire bottles, excuse me. And then also you have split point bullets and improved ammo for guns. So that's going to be cool. It seems like you could really get into weapon upgrades this time around. That was definitely not present really in the first Red Dead Redemption at all. So that's something I'm super excited about. Of course, Arthur, if you're wondering, can swim in this game. That's always a big deal in open world games. Whenever I stream something new related to open world games on my Facebook page, everyone asks, can you swim? Can you jump into the water? Even with Spider-Man, it's like, can you swim? Get into that water. I'm like, okay, sure. I guess we won't web swing. We'll dive into the water. But yeah, Arthur can swim in this game. This is really neat. You can press down on the D-pad and you'll get the current time and temperature in the game. I don't know how realistic that is for a Wild West setting, but it is a pretty cool feature for sure. Now, we can go into first-person mode, but there is the HUD, which is fully customizable. So you can basically go in there and have like a HUD-less experience as much as you want. I love this. It's something that Sony games specifically, their exclusives have really been pushing. You can go into Horizon Zero Dawn and choose an option which is like limited HUD. Same thing with God of War 4, and then even, Spider-Man doesn't have much going on with the HUD when you're swinging around. So I love that idea. It's something I'm going to be pursuing, is limiting that HUD for sure. Now, this is the most important gameplay feature of them all. Yes, horses poop on their own and dynamically, so be wary of that. And then it goes on to say this, of course, items can be purchased at general stores as well. And then you can go into the store. Get this, you can go into the store, just like real life, look at the shelving, and then actually pick up that item and go to the clerk and purchase it that way. Now, there's also a catalog there, so if there's items that are not on the shelf, perhaps they're in the back or something like that, you can shop through the catalog as well. But if you really wanted to be like super realistic, you can go in there and actually pick up stuff off the shelves if you want to. But I guess this catalog offers like full-blown images. You can zoom in on stuff and products that you may want. I mean, it's like freaking detailed, this game. It's insane. Now, you can also visit your stable. The horses are going to be some of my favorite parts in this game. Remember, there's like over 40 breeds or something like that. Some horses are better at racing, some are better at hauling stuff, and some are better at basically handling combat better, and will get less scared. But you'll be able to visit your stables to customize your horse and, swap out things like stirrups, blankets, saddle horns, and reins. You can change the style of the mane and the tail, making it short, medium, or long. You can even add braids and change it to dreadlocks. So you can give like certain styles to your horses. It's quite incredible. Now, of course, if your horse dies, it's gone. They're not going to be treating horses like your cars in GTA 5. They really want you to have a relationship with your horses over time. I'm sure we're going to lose some along the way, dang it. It's going to be very, very sad. But you can store your horse in stables in case you need a backup horse. So that's really important to remember. But guys, there are some brand new facts about Red Dead Redemption 2. There are a couple more I did want to go over with you. But again, if you did want to read a lot of these on your own, you can as well. But let's keep pushing forward here through some of these amazing facts here. But it says there's also a red wanted bar that flashes on screen when you attract the attention of the law. So you're going to want to be mindful of that as well. Now back to horses, you can tell your horses to flee. So if you are in a really bad situation, holy crap, this can get my horse killed. You can basically say, get out of here, fight for, flee so you can fight another day, horse. You know what I mean? So protect your horse. Think ahead. Now, your choice of clothing, by the way, has a direct impact on the game. So basically, you'll need to wrap up warm when the temperature drops, it says here, and shed layers when it gets unbearably hot. So you do need to be mindful of that. I don't know how that's going to affect your character in terms of fatigue or anything like that, but apparently it does in some way. More on that later if we discover what's going on there. Now, also, this is pretty interesting. Loot that you actually discover might at times be split between your camp. So I don't know if you'll be able to decide upon who gets what, but you got to be mindful of that when going forward. Now, I was also wondering, how does the bandana affect you in this game compared to Red Dead Redemption 2, if it's any type of change? But yeah, it will. You can put on a bandana during a crime, and then basically taking it on afterwards makes the wanted meter drop faster. The same mechanic was basically true in the first Red Dead Redemption as well. So it's super important to use that bandana if you really want to avoid the law. Or maybe, you know what? Screw it. Maybe you want to get into tons of, fights throughout your journey. Now, you can also pay off your own bounty, of course. There's also another camp at... What's this camp? There's a Victorilla at the camp. And certain NPC companions will serenade you with a song. That's what it says. That's cool. So there's songs and music, dance at the camp. Some good times to be had for sure. Now, they've really pushed the facial animations as well, as each NPC will have their own different type of facial animations, which I noticed it looks so impressive through a lot of the gameplay. And you can tell that a lot of these characters don't have good dental hygiene at all. Now, if a thunderstorm does happen upon you, again, your horse may not handle that well, and you'll notice that. But the thunderstorms are going to be absolutely gorgeous in this game because you'll be able to actually see them rolling in. And that was one thing that I enjoyed the most in Red Dead Redemption, the first one. I'm serious. I felt like that was just something just so enjoyable, just roaming this world and just experiencing the dynamic weather and dynamic events. Now, you can unlock tricks and stuff for your horse as well, which is cool to see. So there's different tricks, including skid turns, rearing, and dressage. So no cannonballs or anything like that like you could do in Spider-Man. So you can't cannonball off a cliff and then land with your horse safely. That would be cool, though, cannonballing into like a lake or something. But yeah, your bond with your horse is going to be extremely special throughout the game, because as you get closer to your horse, it's going to get closer to you, and it's going to become less agitated with things that you do. You know, like battling, it's going to be like this brave horse that's going to be right with you. Now, also, you can have apparently like a bad relationship with your horse, so that will reflect in your horse's behavior as well. Now, trains are going to be an important part of Red Dead Redemption 2 because you can use them as fast travel, but you can also buy tickets to ride them and just like experience that as well. But apparently you can also drive trains as well by galloping alongside them, hijacking them, and taking over the train. And there's going to be train controls and stuff like that. Now, if you skin an animal, you will see where the exit wounds are. Man, this game is super realistic. But it's wiser, of course, to always shoot an animal with an arrow because it's going to give you a better price in town, and it's going to make you a lot more money. It's going to be a cleaner kill. Now, of course, you got to remember that if you are carrying an animal around and you got to get it back to camp and you're getting blood all over you, it will be reflected on your outfit and you're going to be smelling and stuff like that, so you got to clean that off. Now, what's really cool is Arthur Morgan actually sees himself in reflections, in mirrors and stuff, and he'll actually look at himself in the mirror and actually give comments about that as well. But yeah, you can tell that the game is gorgeous, you know, snow indents. That's something that I was so impressed with. You can pet dogs, of course. That's something that I really enjoy in open world games. It's just the simple stuff, you know, approaching dogs and stuff like that. But you're going to have to consider health and stamina as well as you play the game, and then a lot more. But you can also steal hats, shoot hats off enemies, steal their hat, do all sorts of unique stuff in the game. But kill cams are also going to be impacted by your honor. So if you do play honorably, the camera on the kill replay will focus on Arthur. But if you're dishonorable, it'll focus on the kill and be representing the game in a more intense way. So it sounds like, God, the game's kind of encouraging you to be a total a-hole. I want to see the kill cam, man. I want to see what's going on there. So the honor system is intricate, and of course, its most obvious honorable versus dishonorable choice will always be apparent. So yeah, you'll be choosing stuff like very much like an RPG in this game, going through the game and having a wide variety of dialogue options, and whatever you choose will be reflected down the road in the game as a consequence, but you may not see that consequence coming. You may not even know that that's happening right before you, based off your previous decisions. So there it is, guys, the latest news around Red Dead Redemption 2. Really digging this first-person perspective. I can't freaking wait for more gameplay, more screenshots and stuff like that, but Rockstar is not disappointing with their news, their screenshots, and their recent reveals. So guys, stay tuned. Remember to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on Red Dead Redemption 2. Don't forget, smack that bell icon if you want to receive those videos and never miss another Red Dead Redemption 2 video. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon enough in the Wild Wild West.